Well, Election Day is 6 weeks away. It's amazing, coming quickly. And the head of that election, U.S. Senator Chris Murphy and Richard Blumenthal, have now introduced some new legislation that they feel will help keep the polling locations safer.
Yeah, they are looking to ban the possession of a firearm within 100 yards of any federal election site. That would not include on-duty police or security guards. Right now, apparently 6 states ban guns at the polls. Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas, and the District of Columbia have laws in place for that.
Joining us over Zoom to talk about this is U.S. Senator Chris Murphy. Senator, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So how much of a problem is this? And very curious, what are some of the conversations that you've had leading up to drafting this legislation?
So I don't want to overstate the scope of the problem. This is not an epidemic, but we had nearly 100 reports of individuals at the polls last election with arms, with the intent of intimidating voters. A lot of these folks were, conspiracy theorists who, saw somewhere online that votes were being stolen, and they showed up at a polling place with weapons to try to stop what they had read about. But that presence of weapons at a polling place certainly has the impact of scaring a lot of people off. If you showed up to a polling place and saw somebody with an AR-15 standing outside, you probably would turn around and go back home. So this seems like a real common sense measure. As you said, there are already 6 states that say you can't have firearms at polling places. As a national matter, as we sort of get ready for a national election, it seems that we should just make sure that folks feel very safe when they go to vote. And part of what makes you feel safe is that you're not going to run into somebody with a semi-automatic weapon standing outside the polling place.
What kind of support is out there? What are opponents saying? Any gun issue, of course, brings up worries of infringing on Second Amendment rights.
Of course, we have all sorts of laws that, tell you where you can and can't have weapons. We don't allow you to have, weapons inside schools. And we frankly think that it makes sense to not have weapons near polling places. There are absolutely going to be some Second Amendment absolutists who oppose this measure, but I'm not sure what their argument is. I'm not sure why anybody thinks that anybody needs to have a weapon at a polling place. What are you attempting to stop by bringing a semi-automatic weapon to a place where elections are happening? So it might not be easy to pass this legislation, but I think it's at the very least really important to raise the issue so that we can make clear that we see this as a real problem for democracy if the trend continues and more people show up to polling places with weapons.
Important to note, a lot of those polling locations are schools, especially here in Connecticut. Chris Murphy, U.S. Senator Murphy, thanks. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.